Moving on to chapter 5 of the New Frontiers of Lucid Dreaming, and this chapter is titled Well-Being in Lucid Dreams. So James starts off here talking about how very often the way that we think of ourselves can be quite different than who we truly are inside. And he talks about the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is where people with a low skill level at something will tend to think of themselves as being better at it than they truly are. And then people with a very high skill level at something will tend to think of themselves as being not as good at it as they truly are, which of course is something I've seen in myself here and there. And I know it's something that we all see in other people, right? And then he gives this example, which is among some other examples that he gives, but this is the one that stood out to me. You might think that you are brave, but how will you react when you find yourself in a particularly hellish lucid dream? And so I think I kind of have like the opposite of that, where I definitely wish I was braver at certain waking life things than I am. And I'll give a couple examples here in a second. But, when it comes to, me and my lucid dreams, I've always been incredibly confident and I guess for lack of a better term, brave up in there. And like, say if I'm like lucid in a dream and I see a particularly like creepy looking area of the dream setting, I basically always go to it. And sometimes like I don't want to go to it. I'd rather do something else in my dream, but I feel like compelled to go there and just prove to myself that I can and just handle whatever, that place has to offer. And like, this is an example I've shared a bunch on the channel in different videos, but like, say if the sleep paralysis demon dude shows up, right? And I've never had a sleep paralysis demon show up and me not be lucid. But like, anytime that happens, I'm always down to stay in it and try and experience it and get to meet the sleep paralysis demon dude and see what's up with him. And I do have a fail-safe way of waking myself up out of any dream and sleep paralysis that has never failed me, where I just close my eyes really hard, shake my head back and forth, and it always breaks through and wakes me up. But I always choose to stay in those type of situations, right? Where even if I am scared, it's basically where my curiosity, overrules any fear I may have. And I'm also sure this goes a long way, where my underlying base belief is that, no matter what happens in my dreams, I'm going to wake up and be fine, right? But here's a couple of waking life examples where my dream self seems to, at least to me, differ than my waking life self. So the first one's a kind of embarrassing one, but I grew up doing combat sports stuff basically my whole life, right? Been kickboxing since a young age, did taekwondo, did judo, wrestled, and doing like jujitsu now. And I'm definitely not very good at jujitsu. I'm still getting my ass whooped all over the place. But at least when it comes to things like, I guess, kickboxing in particular, I've always been, okay, I wouldn't say like a gym killer. That's overselling it. But I've always been one of the better guys in class. I'd always spar very well. But whenever it would come to me like having to compete on a stage in some gymnasium, I felt like I would rarely ever live up to my standards and perform as good as I would in the gym, or basically like, just the pressure would get to me. And, like the few street fights I've ever been in my life, I have to be like blind rage, angry to do it. And there's been times where like, say after something happened, right, where I see this dude, I can get to jump on him, we can scrap right there. I always find it to be, really hard unless, as I said, I'm just fucking blind raging pissed. But then like in my dream settings, man, shit, I'm down to scrap anytime, right? And then another better example than that last example is, when I got my current job I have now, when I first started it, I didn't realize how much public speaking it involves. It involves a ton of it, right? And I really did not like it. Like I almost quit my job a couple times over it in the beginning. And this is also when I was starting this job, was right about when I started to get into my lucid dreaming practice as well. So I would actually make lucid dreams where I'm up there, I'm, talking on stage, presenting to a group of people. But the thing was, anytime I would do that in a lucid dream in particular, I always found it to be very easy. Like it wasn't hard at all. And I did have like non-lucid dreams where I'd be messing up at work or something. But like anytime I was lucid and I would do it on purpose, it always just came to me really easy. So I'm not sure how much this actually ended up helping me or not, but I did eventually get over it. Now I actually really do enjoy and love public speaking. I still definitely over prepare for this stuff and spend probably too much time of my work hours prepping my trainings and stuff like that. But the end result I feel like is worth it because I get up there and I kill that shit. But I guess this is just one situation where I do feel like my waking life self eventually did catch up to my dreaming self in that respect. Anyway, kind of rambled on there for a bit. That will wrap it up though. Until the next video, keep the lucid dreaming practice legit.